became on its own an economy of its own, growing at a very rapid rate. And for me, it did not have enough population. If it had, including the criminal economy, if it took the entire Nigerian people along, that they could feed themselves from that, and have stood back as a governor and encourage that illegitimate economy to be. But I looked at it and said, again, like Nigeria, not more than 10% of Nigerian people were benefiting from that illegitimate economy. There was a need to fight that economic growth and allow one that can take in more than 10% of the Nigerian economy. So I said here that democracy, in the context of a weak economy and rising unemployment, violence has been democratized, with an army of young men and women being forced to provide an illegitimate economy for themselves, where the state has failed to provide them with a legitimate means of survival. Democracy presupposes responsibility. It presupposes that political leaders will be crisis solvers rather than escalators of divisions, political crises, and the attendant insecurity. Democracy presupposes that the elected will work first for the greater good, with an understanding that its own safety is guaranteed in the satisfaction of the electorate. If all of us were working, would there be anybody demonstrating against share? Would there be anybody? Now, and that's why you all know the governors. If everybody here had a job to do and a source of income, you wouldn't know who is governor of Lagos State. You will meet people inside the mall, and you will know that go to America, nobody knows their governor. But here, governor of Lagos State is coming, everybody will queue up on the road because you don't know whether you call that, young man, can I give you a contract? By May 29, 1999, there were many signs of aggressive self-nationalism. Post May 99, this became even more pronounced as regional militia. OPC, APC, IPC, myself, Niger Delta groups had formed themselves into ethnic militia with different agenda, much of which was neither rational in context nor geared towards the greater good. Question the word rationality. Because again, rationality again is defined by economic reality. To you, to the rich, what is rational is that myself should not come and shoot anybody, right? Yes. How can they kill me? What did I do to them? But the money you are stealing deny them the right to live. So all they are doing is now, before they die, you will die. That's why I use the word define, question the word rationality. Gradually, where am I? In context, no, geared towards the greater good. What is greater good? There are too many things that we must all I'm banding that we must all question when we begin the discussion. Now, gradually the concept of nationhood began to fade, with subnational groups seeking ethnic domination and parochial interest. The resultant effect of this was the divide and rule politics of the elite, which covertly, even if not overtly, sought to create a multiplicity of armies. Right? So, during the had his own army. Well, in the election, what happens to them? You unleash them to society because you're never able to fund them anymore. And they begin to look for their survival. The proliferation of this small arms within the West African subregion has not rather than added matters with all kinds of interests, buying weapons in their attempt to arm the young people, whom they have recruited to pursue whatever their interest. The big question then is, what do we do? Throw up our hands in the air, go our different ways, or encourage a revolution? All of these are options that have either been profiled before or at least have been spoken about. But it is clear to me, and I believe to most of us that a united Nigeria is definitely a much stronger country. Do you agree? The problem or the solution is not in breaking up. It won't solve the problem. Because if you break it to 10 and still leave the same type of system and same type of people, it will continue. All they have done is create more elites to continue the trouble. All of these are, okay, I said, indeed, it is the realization that informed the idea of federalism as a political compromise to assuage the fears and suspicions among the heterogeneous groups that make up the country. The main goal of government is the pursuit of the welfare of its people. The challenge of governance is to ensure the provision of welfare for its people, the maintenance of law and order, and the pursuit of its national interests, political and economic, on the global scene. To achieve these goals, we must return to the basics. We must go back to the foundation. That's what I did in the primary education in the university. I also didn't want to hear about primary education. I said, how many schools? First, the law says only local government can do or run primary schools. I said, no, come here, I'll take it over. They said, yes. I said, okay, demolish, how many schools? They want to go, I think demolish all of them. Let's start from scratch. Train teachers, we're hiring 13,000 teachers. Concluding that, build new schools, put ICT in the schools, train the children, let's separate the current children who are already in secondary schools from the ones that are coming up. So that by the time we die with those ones, the new crop of people who come will be different from what happened. So we need to go back to the basics. At the heart of the matter is good governance. Leadership must be people-centric and development-oriented. If we begin to fear that if I don't do well, you vote me out, then I'll do well, won't I? So at the heart of the matter is not only people-oriented government, it must also be an institution that elects the government that people want, not we elect on behalf of the people. There is a direct correlation between good governance and peace and security. Good governance is needed to achieve peace and security in back of meaningful development in never contending armed groups to disarm and establish a basis for enforcing human rights and restoring human dignity. Unless there is peace and security, development will be elusive. Also of significant importance is our political arrangement. If Nigeria is a federation, then it is important that we operate within the context of true federalism to guarantee the rights of all component members of the federation. A division of legislative lists to favor states and local government would mean not only that more resources are made available at the grassroots where the people live, but also more responsibility is placed in the hands of those closer to the people to guarantee the security of lives and property. A more realistic expectation that then gives the federal government the space to face the more serious threats of national security. One of the fears often expressed when the matter of fiscal federalism is discussed is the distribution of resources to cater for the weaker states. This should not be a matter for worry, as the principle of fiscal equalization, where provision is made to guarantee the development of economically weaker states, while ensuring that resource-rich states benefit from their resources guarantees fairness. Equalization payments are cash payments made in some federal system of government for the federal government to sub-national governments with the objective of offsetting differences in available revenue or in the cost of providing services. In Canada, the federal government makes payments to less wealthy Canadian provinces to equalize the province's fiscal capacity, their ability to generate tax revenues. Equalization payments are based on a formula that calculates the difference between the per capita revenue yield that a particular province will obtain using average tax rates and the national average per capita revenue yield at average tax rates. The current formula considers 5 major revenue sources. The objective of the program is to ensure that all provinces have access to per capita revenues equal to the potential average of all 10 provinces. The formula is based solely on revenues and does not consider the cost of providing services or the expenditure need of the provinces. There are other examples of Germany, the United Kingdom, and even the United States where certain federal state transfers contain equalizing elements. In addition, the ability of political leaders to exhibit gallantry in defeat and grace in victory will go a long way to stabilizing the polity. Political leaders must learn to put out rather than fan the embers of discord and sectional sentiments. Focus must be on Nigeria as a whole, and personal aggrandizement and self-interest must be subsumed in the bigger goal of national unity, peace, and security. Finally, is the role of the mass media in this whole discourse. What is the role of media in an emerging democracy, and how much does media contribute to both the corruption and the insecurity? Can the media be said to be above board, or is it as corrupt or even more so than the politicians it varies? The media holds the very position of the conscience of the people. One of your newspapers aptly portrays the role of media when he says, conscience is an open wound, only truth can heal. I quote the quotation. Media is the ombudsman, or as we say, gadfly of democracy, and you must continually hold the right light on it for the rest of us to interrogate our leadership principles, practices, and political stance at all times. If our nation fails, it is as much the fault of the mass media as it is of the politicians and technocrats. In conclusion, let us return to the Bible story from where we began. Our interrogation of the subject matter. When the Israelites came to Rehoboam to make the request for a lighter body, he asked them for 3 days to think about it. When he saw the counsel of the older men, he was asked to reassure the people that he would protect their interests and indeed make their burden much lighter. But when he asked the advice of the younger men, and if you check here, there are many young men and women, his friends and presumably political associates he was hailed. He was hailed on and advised to promise to go even greater hardship. The moral of the story appears quite simple. Everyone has a breaking limit. Everyone has a breaking limit. And when the people are pushed to the limit, the ultimate result is revolt and rebellion. One thing stands out clear, that ultimately the people know who their oppressors are. They know you both. And sooner or later will be willing to confront them and take their own destiny in their own hands. The breakup of the kingdom of Israel is evidence of this fact, as are the more common Asian risings. That is a lesson all those of us in leadership in Nigeria must learn and remember. Let me thank you and wish you well.